So I was born into farming in South Australia. We had a farm about 100 kilometres north of Adelaide, wheat sheep country, and my father was a very avid farmer, and I joined the DPI in Queensland. I intended to do it for a short period and then buy our own land, but things changed. I ended up in the DPI for 10 years, and during that time I bought our property out at Mungalala called Leinster, and then 12 years ago we bought the property we're on now, SIWA. Well, interestingly, undoubtedly the name SIWA, S-I-W-A, it's the name of an oasis in the middle of the Sahara Desert. It's in Egypt, about 60 kilometres from the Libyan border, and we've actually been there. I never knew it existed when we bought SIWA, but several years later we were looking through a travel brochure, and here was this tour you could do the SIWA oasis. My wife and I went, and it was enormously interesting. So I deduced from that that what would have happened is that there would have been a soldier fighting in the North African desert in the First World War. When he returned to Australia, a lot of big places were being broken up and what they call balloted. And he went into this ballot, and no doubt someone who'd fought near the SIWA oasis drew this block, and so that's how he picked on the name. I can't think of anywhere else it would have came from. We were just cattle to start with in 2003. And then 7 or 8 years ago we introduced our sheep business for fat lambs, and now we also have organic wheat, and we have oats for grazing and for hay.
I manage this 12,500 acres, 2,000 acres of cultivation of cropping land, and we run a mixed farming enterprise, so we run sheep, cattle, goats and grain and cropping, hay, that sort of thing. I grew up down on Darling Downs, down near Oakey, on a 3,000 acre property. Got to understand a lot about the land from a very young age. This was a bit of a natural transition for me to go from being on a small acreage down there onto a much larger one out here.
Well, if you've got an organic product, then if you've got organic certification, you've had your audits every year, the consumer can be satisfied that it's got no illegal inputs, certainly no herbicides have been used on the property, there's been no insecticides used on either the land or the animals, no antibiotics or hormones are allowed to be used. We certainly don't even look at using any. When you go through university in agriculture, when I did in the 60s, the emphasis was to produce more product. Like you wanted to, the lecturers were working on how to increase your yield from 6 bags an acre to say 10 bags an acre. So the emphasis was all on putting more of this in, putting more of that in, controlling the weeds better. And I reckon that has turned out to be an unhealthy trend. The people who, certainly organic producers get a lower production per acre or per hectare or per animal, but I still prefer to go that way, and hopefully we get compensated with a slightly extra price.
So I lived overseas for many years in Ireland. When I came back with my young family, Dad approached me to help him market his meats direct to the public, the people in the cities. I guess it has always been a dream of ours to take Dad's meat and to skip all the middlemen and sell it direct to the consumer and tell them our story. People have seen many horrific stories about intensive farming, and I think from our point of view what we want to get across is that our animals have as much room as they like. They grow at their own pace, they gain weight at their own pace, and they've had a good life right down to the very end in how they're transported and slaughtered. Well, I think everyone who eats has some sort of responsibility to know the background of those foods, know how it is produced, and I suppose coming from the daughter of a farmer, know that that farmer has been well compensated for all of their work and the animal has been well treated and looked after.
We run quite substantial numbers compared to what we actually put through the shop itself. So we have a large choice of animals. We particularly choose the premium of the animals to go to the shop. so we can keep our quality second to none. And the challenge is to get that stock there, rain, hail or shine. We have to send them every Wednesday. We haven't missed a delivery yet.
We're getting really good feedback from the customers. Our customers are really pleased to know that they're getting meat that's not been involved in any chemical use on the land or on the animals, and they're remarking that they can tell the difference in taste between that meat and the ordinary commercial meat you buy from the big supermarkets.
I think what really took me by surprise when we opened Sherwood Road Organic Meats is how appreciative our community was. We really feel now as though we are so highly valued. Everyone wants to help the farmers, and a lot of people were looking for many years for ways to do that. So rather than opening this shop and saying, please come buy our meats, we were just immediately welcomed into the community for that reason. Finally, people have an easy way to buy direct from a farm.